We have a massive New York Knicks update on trades as a shocking report from a New York Knicks notable insider has revealed potential plans for the New York Knicks to make a key trade that could net them back players that would absolutely help the team win games and play better come the playoffs and help out Tom Thibodeau's bench, especially when it pertains to scoring the ball. And we're going to break this all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. If you guys are interested in more New York Knicks content from us, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're part of that 67% who's not subscribed and you want daily New York Knicks news, rumors, updates on injuries, updates on potential trades like the video we're making right now, live streams that are really fun, TikToks, YouTube Shorts, make sure to subscribe. This is the place to be for New York Knicks content. I promise you it's a bunch of fun. We're going to have a great time here. Let's jump into this, though. A report from New York Knicks insider Ian Begley has revealed the truth on Jericho Sims and his future with the New York Knicks as it pertains to these potential trades. Now, taking a look at what Begley said, he said he does expect Jericho Sims to get moved by the NBA trade deadline off of the New York Knicks onto a new team where he could play a more consistent role with whatever team the New York Knicks trade him to. This is the guy who Ian Begley believes is most likely to get traded off of the New York Knicks come the trade deadline. I know I just made a video on Mitchell Robinson and how the Knicks are open to trading him more than ever before, and I do think the Knicks will explore trading Mitchell Robinson before ultimately deciding to keep him until at least throughout the rest of this season. And I know I make a ton of trade videos, guys. I know you guys get sick of them. I do read the comments, but look, it's trade deadline season. I gotta make some of these videos. I'm gonna report the news that's coming out to us. If you guys have a problem with that, leave me suggestions down below what else to make videos on. But it's trade season. This is what we have to talk about in trade season. So let's do just that. Let's break down some more news from this because Jericho Sims is a guy who has not been having a good season with the New York Knicks. We'll make this bigger for you guys. He puts up 1.8 points per game and 3.6 rebounds per game. Those are both down from his career averages. Meanwhile, his field goal percentage is also down. In a year that was supposed to be his breakout season, when he had a chance to perform while Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa were both out due to injuries, Jericho did not show up enough for the New York Knicks to trust him. Now, Tom Thibodeau will still start Jericho Sims when Karl-Anthony Towns is out of games due to injuries, with Precious Achiuwa continuing to come off the bench because Tibbs likes Achiuwa off the bench. So Jericho will still appear for the Knicks as a starter when Karl-Anthony Towns is out, but there is a clock on that with Mitchell Robinson working to come back to the court from his injury as a career 8-8 guy and great shot blocker who Tom Thibodeau loves. It's going to completely kick Jericho Sims right out of the rotation to where he's the fourth string big man, and there's going to be no point to have him on the team. Therefore, meaning Knicks insider Ian Begley is correct. Jericho Sims is the most likely man to get traded off of the New York Knicks. Now, this is a very interesting thing to think of because of the situation at hand. With Begley thinking that Jericho Sims gets moved by the deadline, Jericho's on an interesting contract because it's an expiring deal where he becomes a free agent at the end of this season after being on a $2 million contract. There's only so many guys on $2 million contracts. But as you may have seen in the intro video, we did discuss, or we have two names here who the Knicks could make trades for, who would certainly benefit the New York Knicks by doing this. So let's take a look at the first one. As a report from Brett Siegel from a couple days ago revealed that Daniel Tice and Javonte Green are players on a minimum contracts that can be moved to allow the Pelicans, who exceed the tax line by $2.1 million, to move below the luxury tax. Javonte Green is a player who the Celtics hold interest in, sources said, but New Orleans doesn't want to take back more money, and Jaden Springer is the guy who the Celtics want to trade. Jaden Springer's making $4.2 million, so it's basically useless for the Pelicans to make that trade because then they're still over the luxury tax, which their owners don't want to be, considering the team is bad anyway. Now, New Orleans also doesn't want to take more money back, as we know, but the Milwaukee Bucks, Denver Nuggets, and New York Knicks have also been mentioned as teams holding a level of interest in Javonte Green, which is a very good thing if you ask me personally. Javonte Green puts up 6 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 1 assist, and nearly a block per game despite being 6'4", also getting over a steal per game with these numbers off the bench. These are great bench numbers, and he would fit in on the New York Knicks bench perfectly. He's a wing. The Knicks could use another wing because he's better than Landry Shamet, who, though Landry Shamet plays hard, Javonte Green also, it's one of his calling cards. It's how hard he works, how great he'd be on a contender, and he's trying to find his way to a contender, and he absolutely will, and I think the New York Knicks are the team for him. He hits 41% of his corner threes. The Knicks shoot more corner threes than any team in basketball. On top of that, the Knicks have he has a 38% shooting from three with 46 from the field, plays great, excellent defense, as you can see, over a steal per game in limited minutes. The man is a very good player waiting to be on a contending team where he can be fully used correctly. This is a Tom Thibodeau guy. There's no way around it. Javonte Green is a Tom Thibodeau type player. He's going to fit in perfectly with the New York Knicks when the New York Knicks, if they can figure out a way to trade for him, which I think, if I had to guess, as it pertains to Jericho Sims, I believe the New York Knicks want to trade Jericho Sims for Javonte Green. And I think the New Orleans Pelicans would be willing to do this as well. Now, we'll get back to that in 1 second, and that in 1 second. Here we go. Look, Javonte Green gets traded to the Knicks. The New Orleans Pelicans acquire Jericho Sims and a second-round pick from the New York Knicks. So the Pelicans get something back for a guy that they effectively just want to get rid of and will not be able to re-sign, or they just won't be re-signing after this season. So they get a second-round pick to work with and a young big man in Jericho Sims who showed his best minutes when he was in a normal backup center role, when he was getting consistent minutes. Something he would get from the New Orleans Pelicans because the Pelicans have one true center on their team, and that is Yves Missi, a rookie. Now, here's the thing, guys. They do still have Daniel Tice, but the Pelicans feel no need to have Daniel Tice. And if the Pelicans trade for Jericho Sims, they would play Sims over Tice because they would see Sims as a longer-term piece for the team. Essentially, they'd be able to bring Sims in, throw him some lobs the way he wants, play a fast-paced brand of basketball, high-flying brand of basketball with Zion Williamson on the team as well. He could kind of be a very similar player to Yves Missi. Paint presence, great shot blocker, great rim protector, gets some rebounding. He's been around winning teams before, so Jericho Sims understands winning culture. He could bring that into New Orleans, a team that desperately needs a kick of winning culture. Now, I think Javonte Green has that as well, despite being a guy who's only been on losing teams throughout the majority of his career, outside of a brief moment where he played for the Boston Celtics to start his career. Then went to the Chicago Bulls, who are professionally mid, and the New Orleans Pelicans, who they've just been Murphy's Law this year. It happens to one team every season. It's just sheer Murphy's Law. Everything that can go wrong injury-wise will go wrong injury-wise. We saw that with the New York Knicks in the playoffs last year. Now the New Orleans Pelicans are getting hit with it. The Memphis Grizzlies get hit with it every single year. And they especially did last season. They were really the Murphy's Law team last year as well. So that is important to mention as well to just consider. Now, when it comes to another guy who the Knicks could trade for, Brett Sigel of Clutch Points posted an article with a mock trade for the Orlando Magic to land Jimmy Butler. But here's the thing. He also posted 4 more trades involving Jimmy Butler to multiple different teams, including the Phoenix Suns, and a couple other ones as well. Every single trade that was pitched, it was always Jimmy Butler and Alec Burks together in the trade. Why? Because Alec Burks is on a Miami Heat team that wants to restart and rebuild, and Alec Burks makes no sense on a rebuilding team, especially when he's on a $2 million contract, or actually like a 1-year, $1.99 million contract. Alec Burks is a guy who's on that $1.99 million contract, and he's going to get moved because it's expiring, and he's not going to re-sign with the Heat anyway. And Alec Burks is a player who's just built for contenders and has been on the New York Knicks multiple times. So clearly the Miami Heat are open to trading Alec Burks, who does not have that high of trade value at the moment, though he is a solid player. And I pitched the idea of the same trade where the Knicks give the same second-round pick to the Miami Heat along with Jericho Sims, a guy who plays very similarly to Bam Adebayo as well, who can kind of learn under Bam Adebayo, who, again, brings this winning hard-nosed culture that Jericho Sims has. Big men from Texas are brought up with very hard-nosed culture. We've seen it before many times. Texas players are developed well. Jericho has kind of had his development stunted as the New York Knicks signed Isaiah Hartenstein, making Jericho Sims a third-string center, then obviously having Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa and Ariel Hukporti, a young rookie who they like. Sims has not gotten a fair shake from the Knicks over the past couple of years, and getting traded to a team like the Miami Heat could help him turn things around a lot. And I actually expect that they would turn things around. Alec Burks, on the other hand, would make his third stint with the New York Knicks. He would help the Knicks as he would give them another scoring option off the bench on the wing, something the Knicks desperately need. They could use another scorer. Alec Burks scores the ball well, knows how to win games, knows how to play in the playoffs in New York City for the Knicks. He's done it before. He's been on multiple playoff teams like the Philadelphia 76ers as well when they were great. Now, 5.5 points per game, 2 rebounds, 1 assist in limited minutes, shooting 43% from 3, 38% on corner threes, 41% from the field. Very clutch, good ISO scorer off the bench, great catch-and-shoot player, one of the best catch-and-shoot players in basketball very quietly. Alec Burks is another player who would work perfectly for this New York Knicks team. And Jericho Sims, with him getting traded, there is one other option that we should talk about, and that is the idea that he gets traded somewhere for nothing. The Knicks get a protected second-round pick in return, and the whole point of trading Jericho Sims is to get that $2 million off their books, as the Knicks do believe Mitchell Robinson is going to come back. And I do have a video dropping on that. I know I make 600 videos per day on Mitchell Robinson, but he's the biggest story surrounding the Knicks right now outside of this Jericho Sims news. A lot of big man stuff about the Knicks going into the deadline if they need some more insurance. If they don't, what they want to do, it's clear what the Knicks want to do. They want to wait on Mitchell Robinson, at the same time move on from Jericho Sims, as they still have Precious Achiuwa, who works really well with Karl-Anthony Towns. They obviously have Karl-Anthony Towns. and as well as Ariel Hukporti, who is an in case of emergency break glass guy, who the Knicks could and should use, but they do want to keep his contract low by basically not playing him, so he has low value in free agency this summer, so the Knicks can sign him to a 4-year guaranteed deal worth somewhere around $9 to $11 million. So he's on a cheap deal. Then the Knicks thrust him up to backup center after they trade Mitchell Robinson over the offseason, which I think will happen, and obviously we'll comment more on that when we get closer to that. I've also just said that a million times on this channel. If you guys have been around, you know I feel that way. But guys, I do want to know what you guys think of all this. The Knicks are almost certainly going to trade Jericho Sims, and I think it makes perfect sense for them to go for Javonte Green, to go for an Alec Burks if Javonte Green doesn't work out. Javonte should be their number one target. $2 million works out perfectly. The Pelicans could use could use Jericho Sims. I think that makes perfect sense personally. Or I'd rather the Knicks also just trade for nothing, essentially, free up $2 million and bring up a guy in Chuma Okeke. I know that TJ Warren is also in the G League, but bringing up Chuma makes more sense as they could sign him today, and then they could wait till the beginning of March when the prorated veteran minimum salary goes down to where the Knicks would still have some stability and find some ways to be able to bring in none other than TJ Warren anyway, or a big man like a Moses Brown to give them more big man depth and stability as the playoff push begins. So let me know what you guys think down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications, make sure to tune into all things Knicks Digest, man. We really do have the most fun on this YouTube channel of any sports channel around. We have a great time, and I don't want you guys to miss out. You guys have been killing it with the subscriptions lately. Thank you so much for 11K. That happened yesterday. Great feeling. I appreciate it so much. That's all I got for you guys. Have a great day, and go Knicks.